I told my boyfriend my true body count. It was the worst mistake of my life. 3 years ago, I started dating a wonderful guy named Alex. Our connection was immediate and everything was going incredibly well. When the topic of our intimate history came up, I panicked. I was worried that my number might be higher than his and I was afraid that he would judge me for it. So instead of being honest, I decided to lie and said my body count was lower than it actually was. At the time, it seemed like a small fib that would save me from potential judgment. However, a few days ago, Alex and I were at dinner with some friends when the topic of body counts came up. As the conversation continued, I started getting intense anxiety. I knew I had to come clean to Alex. So, I waited until we were back home and I confessed and told him my real number. Alex was visibly hurt and felt betrayed by my dishonesty. He told me that honesty and trust were essential in a relationship and he couldn't believe that I had lied about something so personal. He then called me a lying B-word, which shocked me. But I understood why he was so angry. I talked to my friends about this yesterday and they were divided on the issue. Some thought that I shouldn't have lied in the first place, while others believed that my lie was relatively harmless and that Alex should understand why I lied. Since then, Alex has hardly talked to me. The next morning, he said he was struggling to rebuild his trust in me and that he needed space. I got a text from him an hour later, saying he was going to stay with his mom for a few days. I felt like I screwed everything up and I was scared he was going to leave me. Right before he asked me my body count, he told me that he was disappointed in his sister because she recently told him her body count. Hers was 6. He joked that mine better not be that high. I didn't ask or even think to ask about his sister's body count, he just brought it up. Which I thought was kinda weird. Mine is 5, including him, but I told him it was 3. So, I was worried. I knew one digit wasn't a big difference but it seemed like it to him. I know I shouldn't have lied, I feel terrible about it and I wish I could take it back. We are texting right now and he explained that he's upset with me because of my number. He said lying about it is obviously an issue too, but he's more mad that I've slept with 5 guys total. He said 4 was his limit, which I just find odd because his number is far larger than mine. Due to my parents, I've learned to just be a people pleaser. In the past, I have dated men that have called me names or have been controlling. I truly didn't realize I had chosen some awful men, until I put some serious thought into it. Alex does this thing where he will express love towards me and compliment me, but then he'd also tell me something negative about me. For example, last week I came downstairs after getting ready for the day. He told me I looked beautiful but told me my shirt made me look fat. He'll tell me my eyes are gorgeous but he doesn't like how short my eyelashes are without makeup. He's told me I am beautiful but he prefers me with foundation and mascara. I'm realizing a lot of things now and quite honestly it makes me uncomfortable now that I'm noticing it. He finally told me he was ready to talk. But the conversation didn't go well. I told him again that I was sorry for lying and questioned him if one person was really holding him back from staying in a relationship with me. He told me it was a deal breaker, so he ended things. He called me used at the end of our conversation, then packed and left to go live with his mom. I understand lying is bad and unhealthy. I still feel bad about it. I made a promise to myself to either be honest about my body count with the next person I choose to be with, or just keep my mouth shut. I learned my lesson. The next morning, things took a turn for the worst. Alex messaged me and asked me if we could talk. I stupidly said yes. He came over, with flowers, chocolates, and a bottle of my favorite wine. He told me he was so sorry for how he acted and that he doesn't want us to be over. He begged me to forgive him. I told him I need some time cause my brain just isn't functioning properly. That seemed to upset him, cause he got sad and started to stonewall me. So I asked him to leave. I decided I needed to talk to someone so I invited my friend over to talk. When she got to my house yesterday, he was at the door. His behavior completely changed at that moment. He was just acting sad and pretending like he was just there to grab a few things. I texted her from inside and told her to not talk to him and just come inside quickly. He tried to get past her when she opened the door. She grabbed his hood and pulled him back and said, "You need to leave or I will call the police." He instantly backed away, caught eye contact with me, then he said, "I saw your post," as he shook his head. Then my friend closed the door behind her and locked it. I have social media but I hardly share or post anything. I especially haven't since all this happened. So I knew he didn't mean posts on Facebook. He knows I spend a lot of time on Reddit, so I'm worried he found the subreddit and saw my post. It seems like it made him even more angry. I planned on filing for a temporary protective order but because of work, I was not able to do so in time. Then my worst nightmare came true. Before I could file a protective order, he started sending me messages from random Reddit accounts throughout the day. He told me he saw my post on a subreddit and told me I'm a B-word for posting our personal issues. I refused to respond to these messages, which seemed to make him more upset. Then he messaged me again, saying he's sorry for his aggression and it was all just because he loved me so much. Little did I know this was just the beginning. Later that day, he sent me pictures from another random Reddit account. It was of him in bed with another woman. His message said, "No one needs you. You're worthless. I've already moved on and she's perfect. She let me take her virginity, she's pure, unlike you. I was in shock. It makes no sense that he called me used because of my body count, but he is okay with sleeping with another woman so soon. Fast forward to the day I was going to file a protective order. He showed up at the cafe I usually have lunch at during my lunch break. He made a big scene and was screaming at me, saying I should be lucky he wanted to date me. He kept saying, "You probably cheated on me with a bunch of men." I told him if he didn't leave me alone then I was going to call the police. He told me, "Whatever, they won't do anything for a thought." So I called the police. Thankfully, he left before they got there. I can't believe that one white lie about my body count turned into this whole fiasco. I pray that I never see him again.